Hello, all. So, I watched Stranger Things season 5, episodes 1 through 4, and I have many thoughts. So, I have been waiting for this season for so long, as many other people have, and it is finally here. I have finally watched the first couple episodes, so let's get right into it. So, when season 4 ended, Hawkins was kind of turned into the Upside Down. Vecna had kind of split a line down the middle of Hawkins, creating like a portal or a huge opening from the Upside Down into Hawkins. And so it just looked like this terrible end of the world type place at Hawkins. And basically Hawkins was turning into the Upside Down. And that is how season 4 ended. Now season 5 has started. And when it did start, it kind of looks like the same old Hawkins. Looks like something never really happened to it at first. But then as the show progresses in that first episode, we do see how Hawkins has changed. So Hawkins is currently closed off from the rest of the world. No one can leave. And that huge split in the middle that I mentioned, it was covered by the military with metal plates. So kind of like a band-aid. And they even mentioned that as a show. Not a solution, but a band-aid currently. So Hawkins is still trying to be as normal as possible after what happened at the end of season 4. So currently around Thanksgiving, the first 4 episodes of the show had dropped. So those are the episodes I'll be going through right now. And I'm mostly going to be doing this one and structuring it like kind of like following the characters and each group of characters and where they are at the point of the storyline for these first 4 episodes. So Max currently is still in a comatose state. She has not woken up. She's still in the hospital. And the group does still continue to visit her and they play the Kate Bush song, Running Up That Hill for her. At the beginning of this season, we see Dustin is still dealing with the loss of Eddie. And if you don't remember Eddie, he was the leader of Hellfire Club and he was wrongly accused for Chrissy's death. And there was been a manhunt out for him in last season. Unfortunately, he did pass because of the Upside Down, but no one really knows the truth about Eddie, how he tried to save everyone, and they just saw him as a monster. So Dustin is still grieving Eddie, and everyone else kind of still sees Eddie as a bad person, everyone who doesn't know the truth. And Dustin doesn't really care what people think. He still wants to defend Eddie. He still wears the club t-shirt. And that does bring a lot of negative attention to him because everyone else believes Eddie was a bad person, and seeing Dustin defend a really bad guy sets everyone off in the wrong way. So Dustin is kind of, it feels like he's in this like rebel state or like not really caring. It doesn't care anymore. He just wants to keep the positive side of Eddie alive. We also see that the Byers, Joyce, Will, and Jonathan are living with the Wheelers, and they're all under one roof. And that definitely is a lot of people in one house, but I guess since they came back to Hawkins, the Wheelers offered their house to them, and now they're all living together. It does seem like some tight quarters, but it was definitely cool to see the breakfast scene at the beginning of the series and how they're all just living together, kind of like one big happy family. But you can tell that Ted Wheeler is not the biggest fan of this. And also in the beginning of this season, Eleven and Hopper, they are currently in hiding. Mostly 11, but both of them are currently in hiding and they're training 11 as well. So she is training to become stronger and faster to be able to defeat Vecna. So they're like at this like junkyard obstacle course that they created for her to try and get better with her powers and stronger and faster. So that's what they're currently working on. And in Hawkins, people believe she is missing, but she's actually just hiding and she's training with Hopper. We also see at the beginning of the series Robin and Steve. Of course, every new series they need a new job, and currently they are working at the radio station. Robin has a show where she is Rockin' Robin, and she is kind of like the local radio station person. It seems like, from what we can tell from the first series, that the person who was the local radio person got out of town in time. So she's left there, and she's got a great personality to be on the radio station and kind of keeps people updated on what's going on in Hopkins because, again, the town split open. So she's just keeping them up to date. They do also use the radio station, and Robin kind of sends out messages to the entire group, like secret messages coded within, to help them on their destroying Vecna journey. Then we have Jonathan and Nancy. So in the series, it seems that they are still together by the beginning of season 5, but it does seem like their relationship is not at its strongest point right now. And also because they're back in Hawkins, Steve is there. And so we do see how Steve and Jonathan are like constantly competing against each other or trying to seem like the better man. And it seems like it is because of Nancy. So definitely going to see how that turns out by the end of the season. But that's kind of where everyone is at the beginning of season 5. One thing I did like about this season is that the group is starting together and working together in the beginning of the season. I feel like in past seasons, they're kind of separated and then come together towards the end to fight Vecna, Demogorgon, the Mind Slayer. So I liked how in this season, early on, we learned that the group is working together and they're doing something they call the crawl. And so during these crawls, they go into the upside down and they try to find Vecna and kill him. And it looks like they've been doing this for a very long time and they still haven't found him. So they're wondering where he is, kind of why hasn't things in Hawkins changed too much from when that initial split of the city. So a part of this crawl is that Hopper is the only one who actually goes into the upside down, and everyone else is stationed around Hawkins to kind of be like a lookout or help find Vecna. So the way Hopper does this is that he sneaks into a military van when they end up going into the upside down, and he goes with them on patrol kind of, because it seems like they are also kind of searching for what's happening in the upside down. So Hopper just sneaks into one of their vehicles. But very soon we realize this crawl is going to be different than their previous ones. So it all starts out the same. Hopper goes into the upside down by sneaking onto a military vehicle, but it ends up that the vehicles going into the upside down get attacked by a Demogorgon. And while this is happening, Will kind of gets connected and ends up in some type of trance. And while he's in this, he ends up seeing what the Demogorgon is seeing. And he sees, like through the Demogorgon's eyes, that they are attacking the same military vehicles that Hopper is on. And then while that's going on, after the vehicles are attacked, he sees the Demogorgon kind of coming into Hawkins and going towards a house. And it turns out that it is the Wheeler house he has seen the Demogorgon run towards. So once he is out of this trance, he tells everyone what he saw, and they are going right into action. So Nancy and Eleven end up driving towards the Wheeler house, and Mike and Lucas are biking over to the house, and they're all trying to get there in time to save the family or protect the family from the Demogorgon and before it gets to them. So the Demogorgon is going to the Wheeler house and is after Holly. And let me just tell you, the scenes of the attack at the Wheeler house, they were such good scenes. Terrifying, but such good scenes throughout that entire sequence. So usually in past seasons, the parents aren't really in the mix. We've seen the Wheelers kind of been slightly on the edge, somewhat oblivious to what is going on, just not in the know. So they're adjacent to the action, but never in it, never the center of it. Now we see the entire Wheeler family being pulled in to this Demogorgon Vecna world, and it is terrifying and really sad, but also such good scenes to watch on television. So initially we have the Demogorgon going to Holly's room trying to get her. Holly is a fighter, y'all. She's a fighter. She's like, "You're not coming for me." And she runs to her mother's room. Turns out her mother is like in the bathroom, and her mother doesn't believe her at first, but then the monster's coming towards them and she believes, and they're like, "We gotta hide." Bathtub scene, great scene in this whole sequence. Loved it. Them, just that underwater shot was really beautiful, and how Karen just holding on to her daughter for dear life, and them both trying to hide in the bathtub underneath the bubble bath so the Demogorgon doesn't get them. First of all, brilliant hiding spot. Second of all, I was yelling at the screen like, "Stay down, girls, don't get up, please, please, Demogorgon, don't find them." Thankfully, Demogorgon didn't find them, but unfortunately it's because of Ted Wheeler, or Papa Wheeler, coming in the house because he sees something's going on. So he goes in the house with his golf club, he's kind of seeing the mess that the Demogorgon made. He knows something's wrong, so he's calling out for his daughter and his wife. Then the Demogorgon comes towards him because he's yelling, and understandably Ted is freaked out and scared, but he still tries to fight this monster off with his golf club. Unfortunately, it's not enough, and the monster does swing at Ted, and that was so sad. I felt so bad. I was like, oh no. It's just sad because they don't deserve this, but now they're being pulled into it. So unfortunately, the Demogorgon hits Ted, and so Ted's over there now bleeding out. But because of that, kind of like a distraction, Holly and Karen are kind of able to run, and they're trying to get away. Unfortunately, Karen slips, and the Demogorgon finds them. Karen tells Holly, "Get behind me." And this scene with Karen, loved. I absolutely loved this. So Karen takes the wine bottle she was drinking out earlier, cracks it against the counter, and holds up a broken wine bottle now, aiming it at the Demogorgon, telling the Demogorgon, "Stay away from my daughter." Of course, this Demogorgon ain't listening to her, but Karen's not going to go down without a fight. So she takes that wine bottle and starts stabbing that Demogorgon repeatedly, yelling like, "Stay away from my daughter, get away from her." And I'm like, yes, Karen, yes. And at least in this moment, I was like, she has a chance. I can't believe it. She's fighting. But then they cut to Nancy and Eleven getting to the house. And when Nancy comes in and you see the face of Nancy, I was like, oh my goodness, something bad happened. I don't want to see it. So unfortunately, we see that Karen is on the floor bleeding out. It looks like she's trying to make a phone call, but she's bleeding out. The Demogorgon did attack her, and then the Demogorgon ended up taking Holly. And you can tell because we hear Holly's voice in the upside down. So Nancy looks at Eleven's like, go, 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 like go after Holly. So 11 goes into the upside down to try to find Holly and save her from the Demogorgon. But all those scenes at the Wheeler house, so good. Like all the actors did such a great job. I love seeing the fierceness in Karen because we don't really see, like we do see throughout the season, she loves her kids, cares about her kids. But I feel like this was a different angle of it, a different side of her that was even more, the love for her children came out even more. And I love seeing that side of her. So since Will is connected to Vecna, he ends up seeing what Vecna sees. As things happen, he starts to put two and two together, and he believes that he could see through Holly's eyes through Vecna, because Vecna goes into people's minds. So he's able to determine who's Vecna's next victim, and that is Derek, who is a classmate of Holly. So before Holly was taken, she was talking to someone called Mr. Whatsit. And it seemed like it was an imaginary friend because no one ever saw who Mr. Whatsit was. So it turns out that that person she was talking to is Henry, aka Vecna. So Vecna was appearing to these kids in his human form, acting like a good guy, saying that he is going to protect them. So the group decides to make a plan to trap the Demogorgon and put a tracker in him so they can try to find Vecna. So what they end up going with is putting the family, so Derek's family, to sleep to make it seem like they're sleeping and try and take them somewhere else and booby trap their house because they know Derek's the next victim and they know the Demogorgon will come there. So trying to booby trap the house from the Demogorgon to be able to trap them and put this tracker in. But in order to trap the Demogorgon and to kind of put the family to sleep, they need someone who the family trusts to get inside. And that person is Erica. So Erica is friends with Tina, or at least was friends with Tina. They got in some type of fight. Tina is the sister to Derek. So Erica decides to go to the house and have an apology pie to give to Tina and her family. And something's in the pie because they want the family to fall asleep. So everyone is eating from this pie but Tina. And Erica's like, Tina, like, why aren't you eating this pie? Tina's like, no calories. And Erica's like, no, I made it for you. It's low fat. Like, go ahead, girl, eat this pie. And Tina's like, no, I'm not eating this pie. Why are you being so like pushy on me eating this pie? And then they're getting into an argument. Meanwhile, the rest of the family's falling asleep at the table and in the house. And Tina starts noticing her parents passing out. And she's like, oh my goodness, what's happening? Erica, help, call 911. Erica, with like the smoothest stone cold face, is like, you should have ate your pie. takes out a needle and stabs Tina with this needle to put her to sleep. First of all, amazing scene and sequence. I'm not messing with Erica ever, but I'm not gonna lie, it scared me. The fact that she just went in there so quick and put a needle in her friend or ex-friend, I was like, Erica, this is crazy. But again, first of all, such a good one-liner from her. That line, so good. And just seeing Erica with the face that's saying she's mean business, there is no personal relationship right here. She's like, I need to get this job done, was crazy, but so good to watch. So that's a great scene. One of my favorite scenes from the first 4 episodes. As I was watching it, it was definitely giving Minnie from The Help. If you don't know that scene, it's just, I'm gonna say they give off similar vibes, and both involve a pie. So if you need a recommendation, just watch The Help. Watch it for that scene. But yeah, Erica was giving Minnie from The Help. Okay, so the trap is set and they're able to shoot the tracker into the Demogorgon. So then we have Dustin, Steve, Jonathan, and Nancy are in a car trying to track the Demogorgon and following it. And it ends up the Demogorgon goes into the Upside Down. And they decide, you know what? This is our chance. So they drive the car into the Upside Down to continue tracking the Demogorgon. And at this point, now we have Eleven and Hopper both in the Upside Down. So Eleven was looking for Holly and she ends up finding Hopper and running into him. And he's kind of confused, like, what's going on? Why are you down here? She catches him up on everything that happened because they didn't lose contact with him. So she catches him up and now they're both kind of looking for Holly. But soon the military has been looking for Eleven and they find out that she is possibly in the Upside Down and they want her. So as they go looking for her, it turns out they have this device that kind of weakens Eleven and limits her power. Since she's weak, she can't really use her power. Fortunately, Hopper is there with her and he's able to fight off these bad guys and damage the device so she can fight again. And they end up taking one of the soldiers captive because they want to know more what he knows. And they want to know more about this wall that is in the Upside Down that seemed impenetrable. So while Hopper is interrogating this military guy, Eleven goes into his mind and she finds out that they have someone very powerful on their military base and they have them captured behind some type of door. And Eleven believes that this powerful person that they have is Vecna because she's like, whoever is behind that door is very, very powerful. She's like, it has to be Vecna. Okay, so now where all of our characters are that currently Hopper and Eleven are in the Upside Down and going to find that powerful person behind the door who they believe is Vecna. We also have Dustin, Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan. They're now in the Upside Down as well. And they ended up running into this wall that was impenetrable that Hopper and Eleven ended up finding. And they were able to make some type of contact with Hopper, so it looks like in future episodes, they will try to all meet up with each other. Holly now is in the Upside Down, but she thinks she's safe. Vecna has kind of disguised where he's taking her to look like a happy, safe place. While she's in the Upside Down, she ends up meeting someone, and that person is Max. And I was so happy to see Max. When it was kind of leading up to this point of her finding someone, I was like, please let it be Max. I think it might be her, but I wasn't sure. But yes, it was Max, and I was very happy that it was. So when Max finds Holly, she explains everything to Holly about the truth about Henry or Vecna and kind of her story and how Max has been all this time trying to find a way out, trying to get back to Hawkins. And the way she's been doing that is she's been walking through Henry's memories. And she shows that there was a point she almost made it back after so long, but then the music ended up stopping. And I believe it's because the tape ended. And then she wasn't able to get back because kind of the music is the only thing that's getting her through to Hawkins. And so she kind of gave up and went to this cave, which was a memory Vecna won't go back to. And so she knows she's safe there, and she's just been staying there ever since, kind of gave up hope of getting out. But then she saw Holly, and after she saw Holly, she's like, I kind of have some hope. I think we can get out and get back to Hawkins. So I can't wait to see where that goes and what Holly and Max does. But I'm so glad we get to see Max again. So currently, the group that is still in Hawkins are Robin, Lucas, Will, Mike, Joyce, and Erica. Okay, so Will still connected to Vecna / the Demogorgons. And while all this is going on, he saw Vecna's plan. I don't think Vecna meant to show this to Will, but Will ended up being able to see it. And in Vecna's plan, it is to get more children, similar to how he got Holly and wanted to get Derek. So the group's like, okay, we gotta get these kids and protect them from Vecna. Turns out, I guess the military also knows that these kids are special because a military bus comes and picks up all the kids from that class. So the group is like, we need to get those kids and save them. And who do they decide will help them? It is Derek. So Derek is now helping the group because now he's seen the Demogorgon. He's like, oh, these people aren't really crazy. They were actually trying to save me. So Derek goes on to the base because he's one of the kids in the classroom. And Derek is like, oh, I saw Mr. Whatsit. Who else saw Mr. Whatsit? Like asking around. And he was like, well, if you did, come with me. And kind of like they're all doing this meditation thing. But part of the plan is to try to get those kids that did see Mr. Whatsit, because those are the targets, try to get them out of that military base. Let me just tell you, when Derek was hitting those kids on the head, I think it was with the ruler, I was like, why is he hitting those kids so hard? First of all, I didn't think that was necessary, but it was so funny. Him just smacking those kids in the head, and the kids like, yep, just gonna go. Not even blinking twice, just immediately going. That was hilarious. And I was like, what is going on? This is too funny. I do have to say, I didn't like Derek in the beginning. He just seemed like an annoying, bratty kid. But then when he turned into Derek the Delightful, he was definitely growing on me. I was ended up liking Derek by the end of these 4 episodes. So while they are helping these kids escape, things end up going wrong and they end up getting caught. And now the military knows what they're doing and they're trying to rush and get these kids out, and it turns into complete chaos. But now we are getting to the end of these 4 episodes. And here are kind of the main things that happen at the very end. So one of the big things, or reveals, I believe, that happened at the end. So Hopper and Eleven were going to the military base to kill Vecna. And they knew someone very powerful was behind that door. So they end up, fighting their way through, getting to the door. And they find out it isn't Vecna, but it is Eleven's sister, number 8. And we haven't seen this girl since, I believe, season 2. And now she's come back in the final season behind this door, and she's being held captive by this military. This was definitely something I did not expect to see, but I definitely think it was a great reveal, and I'm interested to see what part her sister has been playing, or they wanted her to play in this season. And I recently learned that people did not like the episode that she was in originally, that people disliked the episode so much. I can understand why, but I didn't know it was so many people. But I'm thinking a lot of people are rethinking their thoughts about the episode now, seeing how she came back in season 5. But I think the biggest thing that happened at the end of these 4 episodes definitely has to deal with Will. Towards the end of the episodes, the Demogorgons end up getting to the kids and taking them, and then Vecna comes through the upside down. He looks crazy, but he's coming through the upside down, killing everybody. And when he sees Will, he goes up to Will and he kind of thanks him. And this interaction between Will and Vecna, first of all, so creepy and scary, but we're kind of getting more into Vecna's mind and his intention, or what he sees, or what he wants to do with these kids. So Vecna kind of talks to Will and says, like, thanks Will, because he didn't know what was possible until Will, and kind of going back to that first season when he took Will. And he's saying that Will was weak and very easy to break. And just hearing those words come out of him is so heartbreaking, because we see the journey Will has gone through these 4 seasons. And I do think that's a big thing Will was dealing with these 4 seasons. And him kind of speaking that onto Will as well. I've just felt so bad and so sad for Will. And more of what he says is that he chose the kids he chose because they were weak kids. And then he shows Will, because Will can see through Vecna's eyes, and he shows Will through his eyes that he's now going to go after his friends. And of course, Vecna sends Demogorgons after Will's friends. And then Vecna goes back through the upside down. So Will is seeing the Demogorgons go towards his friends and about to attack them. But then something happens. Will kind of finds the strength from within himself, because he's finally accepting himself completely, and he controls and gains powers of the Demogorgons. And I was like, yes, Will, do it. So these Demogorgons, like you can see them in like midair about to like attack Mike, Lucas, and Robin, but Will stops them. And he ends up killing them as well, the Demogorgons. And then when he stops and they're all dead, and and there's like that zoom in shot just to Will's face, and he takes his sleeve and wipes his nose with the blood. I loved that final shot so much. I think it was so great because, again, we're seeing throughout the 4 seasons only Eleven basically doing that with her powers. Like when she uses her powers, her nose bleeds and she wipes it. But just seeing that shot zooming in towards Will, and he's having kind of the same thing happen to him that Eleven has had happen to her, I think that was just such a beautiful shot, and kind of like the first shot of the new Will after what he's just done. It was so good. Such a great way to end the first 4 episodes. Had me on the edge of my seat. And I was just so happy for Will. I was like, yes, Will, finally like accepting yourself, and now he has this power. So I'm very interested to see what happens in the next episodes. Okay, so that's what happened in the first 4 episodes of Stranger Things season 5. It was just so good. I gave a generalization on what I thought, but if you haven't seen the first 4 episodes, definitely go watch them. It is worth it and it's so good. I'm currently on my rewatch of the seasons. I wasn't able to rewatch all of them before season 5. I got through season 1, but I do want to continue and watch seasons 2 to 4 before the next few episodes come out around Christmas. But after watching these first 4 episodes, I'm giving it a 5. 5 stars, absolutely. This season has been so good so far. I heard that so many people watched or were on Netflix wanting to watch this, that Netflix crashed, which is crazy to me. I know I was afraid of it crashing, so I didn't even watch it directly at 8 because it came on at Wednesday at 8 p.m. And I was like, I'm going to wait a couple minutes because I feel like something's going to go wrong. And I heard it crashed because I think I tuned in at like 8:05, 8:10 or something, just to like, hopefully they figure out all the bugs and then I can watch it without any delay. So yeah, by that point when I began watching the series, everything was good. It's crazy how many fans the show has, but so many people wanted to watch the last season and crashed Netflix, which is mind-boggling, but tells you how much love there is for this show. But yeah, I've seen a lot of good reviews. I've been watching a lot of reaction videos. I've been watching a lot of TikToks, and I'm loving all of them. I love seeing the fans get together and kind of share their opinions, and I loved it, so I love seeing other people love it as well. I know I love to binge watch a show in one sitting, but I do miss the days of weekly episodes, and kind of when an episode is done, you would like go to your friends at school and talk about it, and then you have to wait a whole week for the next episode. I am glad I didn't have to wait a whole week for these first few episodes, and I could watch the first 4 right away, but I do like when you can go and see online and talk to your friends and kind of guess what's going to happen in the next few episodes. Like, I do miss that community for TV shows. Like, I know we are kind of getting back to that, but I do miss that, and I really am glad that at least for this final season we have the opportunity to watch a few, kind of react, go on social media, talk to your friends about it, and be excited for the next few episodes coming soon. Can't wait to see what happens next, and it's gonna be over Christmas, y'all. Like, I'm not ready to cry. It's gonna be so much. But yes, first 4 episodes of season 5 were so good. If you have seen the first 4 episodes, what are your thoughts? Also, let me know what were your favorite scenes. I know I mentioned some of my favorite ones, but what scenes stood out to you as well? But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, week, month, and hopefully a good rest of your year. And until next time, bye.